Okay, it is update number 2 on my efforts to secure additional copies of my original birth certificate from the state of Michigan. Hi, it's Rudy Owens, and I'm posting this on the 21st of August, and I'm getting ready to submit additional paperwork. Now, in my last video, I was posting about my application I was going to submit to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, expecting conflict and confrontation, actually, that they would not likely comply with the requirements of the law, which is to provide me my vital record now that all conditions have been met by law for the state to release my original birth certificate that I have provided to them years ago, which includes a court order. Now, I contacted that court last week, and that court began to inform me that the state of Michigan, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, for nearly 20 years has been providing false information to other adoptees and the public that only one original birth certificate document is released upon a single court order. That's not in law. I've checked the law. It's not in any public communication, and I have documentation of that, and I've saved those records. So what appears to be going on is that the state is providing false information and is violating state law with regards to adoptees and their original birth records. That's wrong. It needs to be investigated. The people who are in that agency need to be called out, and practices need to be changed immediately without any further wasting time to correct the harm that's already been done. So here's the situation I faced. Do I fight them, or do I go along with the pathway that was provided or suggested by someone in the court? Now, this is a court that I worked with before in 2016, and I won my court case to force the state to give me what's mine by a legal right and a human right, which is my original birth record. The state did comply reluctantly with that. So what I think is happening is that the state is trying to avoid putting communication on paper saying they're in violation of the law because they know they're dealing with me and they have a file on me. I know this because I have emails that I've gotten from them saying that. So what they're trying to do is force me to get an additional court order to get my initial 2 records that I've requested already, and those documents that my request forms have already been received, and they've cashed my money. So what I did was I sent documentation to the court, which was requested. So got my paperwork here listing all the things I'm sending more than what's requested, just because I always think it's good to provide a record of everything that I have done and to show I've got my act together before the court. So I'm filing this form again, which was requested, which is called PCA 327, Petition for Adoption Information and Order. And that's basically a document which was signed before by a Judge Christopher Dingle, that said the state of Michigan had to release my birth record in 2016. I'm sending that in again. This is a copy of the one that was signed by the judge. I have to provide my driver's license doing that. Now, I'm not showing this stuff because it's got my information, but I'm sending a copy of my original birth certificate that was released to me in July of 2016, that has always been mine as a human right, but it's been held because of discriminatory state laws and Michigan's treatment of adoptees as people without equal rights before the law and state constitution. I've got a copy of the court order that Judge Dingle granted, forcing the state to release my record, and sending that in as good measure. Sending in the signed version that I just did, a form PCA 327. I'm sending in a copy of my new birth certificate. This is the one that was released after I changed my name in 2009, and it's the one that has a lie on it, which is claiming my birth parents are my adoptive parents, and that's a lie. But that is a legal record, and that shows you how the adoption system works, which it codifies lies into a legal truths, which is inherently a false system built on deception and lies, which this is. I've got my legal name change documents, which I got in 2009, and that was to change my name from my adoptive name to my new legal name, which mixes my legal name and my birth name. And I'm sending in my old amended birth certificate, which has the false information about my new identity, which hid my original identity. So now we're going to just see what happens. I am reminded of this process of something someone else wrote, which is why I have my bastard from Detroit shirt on. I own my identity as a bastard. I am continue to be treated like a bastard by the state of Michigan in this instance. And it's because of that, I'm going to share something which I shared in my book that I wrote and published in 2018 on the injustices and the public health harm and impacts of adoption on millions of adoptees with my story as an illustration. And that's about bastards and the state. And this was something written by another adoptee rights activist named Lauren Sabina Neasley. And she wrote this: bastards are those who have been bastardized by the state, capital B. Bastards are also bastardized socially in ways both overt and covert. But in relation to the state bastardizing bastards, I'm speaking of measurable consequences beyond being branded illegitimate. I'm referring to adoptees having received and continuing to receive unequal treatment by the state or by the governments, or who are both aware of such and are working to change such. And by publishing this video, I'm making folks aware of it. And hopefully the sharing of this information can lead someone in positions of authority in Michigan to basically end this practice that the state is clearly doing to discriminate against adoptees who have done everything requested to get their vital records, and the state is not complying with the law. Thank you.